Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Summon Skull deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck is a really cool nostalgic monster with some retrains, which is really cool because we have Archfiend's Manifestation, we have Archfiend's Awakening, Call, and Ascent as well. So you have a Fusion XYZ Ritual and a Synchro monster in the form of Summon Skull, which is a really neat way to play this deck. And you can actually summon all four of them in the entire deck, which is really cool. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a card sent to you in the mail, or even getting a request a deck profile just like this one every single month. So let's go ahead and start getting into the deck profile. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Summon Skull, which you guys want to know a quick trivia about Summon Skull. This is actually little Yugioh's ace monster, which is kind of a cool fact because Tim, or the Pharaoh, his ace monster is Dark Magician, but this is actually Yugioh's ace monster because if you notice the signature 2500 attack points like all ace monsters have. Then we play 3 copies of Archfiend's Awakening. Archfiend's Awakening is a really neat card as well, because it has the ability that you can ritual summon this card with Contract of the Abyss, or the way we usually ritual summon this card is with our copies of Advanced Ritual Art. And its name becomes Summon Skull on the field, and it's an Archfiend card as well. So it's a little bit confused, but it makes do. And then we have the ability that it cannot be destroyed by battle except with Battle of Ritual Monsters, and cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects except with Ritual Monsters as well. And if this Ritual Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can special summon a Summon Skull from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So they all float, which is really cool because the Manifestation floats, Call floats, and Ascent floats as well. All of your extra deck monsters float that are Summon Skulls, and your Awakening floats into another Summon Skull. Then we play 3 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic. In this particular build, I wanted to focus more on the Fusion variant and the Ritual variant, and less on the Synchro and the XYZ variant. But basically what Keeper of Dragon Magic helps in the deck is it searches Polymerization and brings back your Summon Skulls face down in defense position to use as fusion material. Now I've totally changed the entire deck up. There was like 25 cards that I changed, 25 plus cards I've changed in this deck from the last time. It's a completely different deck from last time. The previous deck I was playing a level 3 Axis where you were basically playing Psychic Wielder, Predaplant Engine, and stuff like that, where this particular deck plays more of a level 4 Axis where you're going for cards like Manju, Keeper of Dragon Magic with Red Resonator to be able to Synchro Summon and Fusion Summon into your other monsters, which really helps out the deck's consistency. Then we play 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. Manju of the 10,000 Hands, when you summon him, you just get to, when he's normal summon or flip summon, you get to add a ritual monster from your ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is really beneficial. Now, a really surprising tech card that I'm actually playing in this deck is 2 copies of Yugioh. Yugioh is an interesting card. I love the artwork of this card because he has the derpiest eyes I have ever seen in my life. But basically what this card does is during either player's damage step or battle step, you can special summon this card from your hand. So basically if your monster attacks or your opponent's monster attacks, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand. And it has the ability that if you do, you gain 1,000 life points. You can only use the effect once per turn, and then once per turn during either player's turn, you contribute this card to target a monster you control, and then it gains 1,000 attack, which can help out a lot because increasing a Summon Skull to 3,500 can be the difference between winning and losing a game. Then we play 3 copies of Red Resonator. The Red Resonator helps us with our Synchro Summons into Archfiend's Call, which is really nice to be able to do and play into those Synchro plays. You don't go into any other Synchro monster except that, but you can also use the Red Resonator not only for Synchro plays, but for Link plays as well, which is usually what I use this card for anyways. Because sometimes with copies of like Manju, if you special summon it off of an effect, it doesn't trigger, which kind of sucks. So you got to keep that in mind. And then my one surprise tech card I'm actually going to place face down and get you guys to guess it. It is a really cool tech card that you guys are going to need to comment down below. I love playing guess this card with you guys to see the wild and crazy text. Because sometimes you guys comment something, I'm like, oh, that's better than what I had. But okay. But I don't think it's going to be this time. This time it's going to be a really interesting text. So definitely comment down below. Tell me what you guys think it is. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to reveal that card in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to give you a quick hint before we do. The quick hint is that it's a nostalgic card. So here we go. It is a single copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon. Why in the world would you play Red Eyes Black Dragon in the Summon Skull deck? Because, guess what? Black Skull Dragon and Archfiend Black Skull Dragon count as Archfiend monsters. If you read the new card of Black Skull Dragon, it counts as an Archfiend monster. And it also is really neat with Red Eyes Fusion, because you can use Verte Anaconda with Red Eyes Fusion to be able to send it to the graveyard to be able to special summon out your Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, or Black Skull Dragon if you're going for style points. The other really cool thing about this card is sometimes you'll run out of Summon Skulls in the deck, and you have a new card called Fusion Deployment, which special summons a monster that's listed specifically on another monster in your Fusion deck, which is really cool. So what you do is you reveal your Black Skull Dragon, and then you can special summon either Summon Skull or Red Eyes Black Dragon to your field, and then use them as fusion material to special summon Black Skull Dragon or Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, which is just kind of cool. I love that ability to be able to do. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. And also, playing these cards side by side, I mean, come on. That's just cool and iconic. So let's go ahead and get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn, because that helps out a lot to be able to special summon your monsters back from the graveyard, like your copies of Summon Skull that you use as ritual material with Advanced Ritual Art, which basically nets you 5,000 damage on the field just off of Monster Reborn, Advanced Ritual Art, and your Archfiend Awakening, which is really, really cool. We play a single copy of Red Eyes Fusion because you use it with Verte Anaconda, or if you top deck it, it's not bad either, because it's kind of like one of those cards that's like you're backed into a corner, so you drop Red Eyes Fusion, and I highly see this card going to 1 in the TCG as well for the next list, if it hasn't already dropped by the time I actually drop this video. But be on the lookout for that. I don't think it's going to get banned. I think it's going to get limited to 1. We play 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is basically the card that you're going to search off of your Keeper of Dragon Magic. I dropped Dark Fusion because we have Fusion Deployment and Keeper of Dragon Magic, so you just want to go for Polymerization instead of Dark Fusion like the last build. 3 copies of Fusion Deployment because you get to reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, and then if you use special summon from your hand or deck, one of the monsters who's specifically listed on that monster. But the thing is you get locked completely into fusion monsters for the rest of the turn. Not that big of a deal, because if you summon something like Archfiend Manifestation or 2 Archfiend Manifestations, and then you special summon a Summon Skull to your side of the field, it's not that big of a deal because you have 3 3,500 beat sticks, or at least 2 3,000 beat sticks. It's pretty good. Then we play that's basically for the fusion lineup. For the ritual lineup, we're playing 2 copies of Contract with the Abyss, which is the ritual spell you use to summon your Archfiend's Awakening. And then we play 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art. Advanced Ritual Art is the one that you prefer to draw into, because you can send Summon Skull from deck to graveyard, and then basically get a free Archfiend's Awakening to your side of the field, because you just summon this off of your copy of Advanced Ritual Art and sending a Summon Skull from deck to graveyard. Instead of it taking 3 cards in your hand to summon a ritual monster, it takes 2, which is just value in my book. Then we play 3 copies of Pre-Prep of Rites. Pre-Prep of Rites, if you open up an Advanced Ritual Art or a Manju and a copy of Awakening, you essentially open up with 2 copies of Awakening, because this card searches a monster that's level 7 or lower that's a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and a ritual spell from your graveyard. So if you already used Advanced Ritual Art, you can immediately just search another copy of Awakening and then get the Advanced Ritual Art back to your hand, which is going to thin your deck so you're not drawing Summon Skull. And then you activate the Archfiend, or you activate the Advanced Ritual Art again, send another Summon Skull to the graveyard, and then special summon Archfiend's Awakening from your hand, so you have 2 of them instead of 1, which is really cool. Then we play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, because the Allure of Darknesses help out with drawing into the deck, because you play, I think it's 11 or 12 dark monsters in the deck. Keep in mind that Red Resignator and your copies of Manju are not dark, that's light and fire, but everything else is dark in the deck, which is not going to be that big of a deal to banish something. This just helps you dig into the deck to get other cards of Fusion Deployments, Polymerizations, Red Eyes Fusions, Advanced Ritual Arts, and stuff like that that you need. And then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. The only thing that I've actually been considering changing in the deck is maybe dropping a single copy of the Contract with the Abyss, but I like having this card if I draw into a Summon Skull, because I can just use the Summon Skull in my hand to go for the copy of Archfiend's Awakening. But that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So the extra deck is really interesting and kind of all over the place, like Summon Skull is. I really wish they would give Summon Skull some more direct support. It'd be really nice, but hey, we'll wait and see. So this time I'm actually playing 3 copies of Archfiend's Manifestation. It does come up. 3 of them do come up in this deck quite often. But it just takes a Summon Skull and a Dark monster, any Dark monster, which is super nice. And then it counts as a Summon Skull on the field, but it's still treated as an Archfiend card. And then all Summon Skulls you control gain 500 life or 500 attack points. And if this Fusion Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, then you can special summon a Summon Skull from your hand, deck, or grave. It floats just like the Synchro monster, Archfiend Call. Archfiend Call makes it so your opponent cannot target any of your Summon Skulls you control, and it also counts a Summon Skull and an Archfiend. And then I play a single copy of Archfiend Descent. Archfiend Descent has the ability that if Summon Skulls you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can detach material from this card, and then if this actually summon your card you control sent to the graveyard, then you immediately get to replace it with another copy of Summon Skull. I love the artworks on these, and I really wish that they would give us a Summon Skull that would special summon it if you control another Summon Skull. That would be nice and really good. And then we play a single copy of the OG Black Skull Dragon, or for you guys who like the name, B-Skull Dragon. The B-Skull Dragon or Black Skull Dragon, basically its effect is that it doesn't have an effect. It's just a 3200 beat stick of nostalgia. And you basically fusion summon this card using a Summon Skull and a Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is really cool to be able to fusion summon this card and just drop it against your opponent and attack him for game. And then we play a single copy of the Archfiend's Black Skull Dragon. Archfiend Black Skull Dragon is the upgraded version of Black Skull Dragon with the effect of, if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects, and it also has the ability that you shuffle a Red Eyes normal monster back into your deck to be able to use it for fusion deployment later, if you keep in mind that, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the Red Eyes you shuffle back in the deck, which is 2400 extra damage after it battles. Really good effect. And 3200 attack? That's pretty good. Then we play a single copy of Utopia Beyond. Utopia Beyond reduces our opponent's monster's attack to 0, which is pretty much the only reason we play this card in the deck, and it's the best rank. It's probably one of the best rank 6s in the game, besides maybe Photon Strike Bouncer. One copy of Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald is a really interesting card in this deck because it does a lot more for this deck than other decks, because it lets you target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, and then draw a card, but it also has the ability that lets you target a non-effect monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can special summon out Summon Skull from the graveyard. One copy of number 60. Number 60 just lets us draw 2 and discard 1, or double the attack points of a Summon Skull all the way up to 5,000, which is insane, and then be able to attack your opponent with it. But you skip your next battle phase or skip your next draw phase, which is not that big of a deal. Or you can even, during your main phase, special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense position, which is cool, but you just have to detach 2 materials from it. Boral Sword, which comes up sometimes. It doesn't come up all that much in this deck, but it's there in case you need it. One copy of Nightmare Unicorn, just to be able to bounce stuff. Phoenix to pop spells and traps, and since we're going primarily fusion focused, we're going Cross Sheep as well. Cross Sheep, its best 2 effects are the Ritual and the Fusion spell, because the Fusion ability and the Ritual ability are insane. Basically what they do is if you Ritual summon a monster to a zone this card points to, you draw 2 and discard 2. That's a plus. I mean, you're not really losing anything, but you're thinning your deck a little bit. And then the Fusion ability lets you special summon a level 4 lower monster from your graveyard, which is pretty cool. It's basically Monster Reborn, and lets you climb up into the Unicorn or something else, like the Boral Sword if you need to. It just basically is here for link climbing. And then we play a single copy of Verte Anaconda, which is for the Red Eyes Fusion that we're going to be sending to the graveyard. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really neat deck that you're basically focusing a little less on the Synchro and the XYZ. I felt like when I would play this deck, like it was good with the level 3 axis, but it was trying to do too much to me. Because with the other build that I had, you were trying to go for this and the Call and the Ascent. You were trying to go for all 4 of these at one hit, but that was so difficult to pull off. So it makes it a lot easier when you drop these 2 off and you go for the Manifestation and the Awakening. It just makes the deck so much better and makes it flow so much easier for the entire main deck, which is basically what I was trying to do for the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It makes the deck so much better to play it like this. The other build is still pretty good, and it's a different take on the deck, so definitely check that out. But it's really neat that you can play this deck 2 different ways, 2 or 3 different ways. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.